Hello, 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 and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle live stream happening every Thursday now at 4 o'clock. And I'm back in North Carolina. So was it last? No, 2 weeks ago I was in Florida, and I'm happy to be back in the mountains. It's a lot cooler here. So welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle. This is all about information and positive energy to help you raise your vibe so you can thrive. And today is, we're in the Lionsgate portal, and actually tomorrow is 8/8 when the peak of the Lionsgate portal is happening. So if you've been with me in previous episodes, you've heard about this. So let's pop right into our astrological news. So regarding the sun is in the sign of Leo. Again, happy birthday to all my Leos out there. And the sign of Leo has to do, it's a heart-centered sign. The body part that the sign of Leo rules is the heart. And Leo has to do with courageousness, being courageous, and also expressive, especially creatively. So, being creative, Leos tend to be very, very creative, has to do with our sovereignty, meaning being the captain of our own ships, our own kings and queens, the masters of our own ships, so that we create what it is that we want to in this world. So that's what's happening as far as the sun's concerned. Now, as far as the moon, because I like to look at the sun and the moon and see what sign it's in and what phase it's in. So we're in the waxing phase of the moon. And what that means is that the sun is, the moon is going from the new moon, which happens on July 24th, to the full moon, which is happening this Saturday at 3:55 a.m. And it will be in the sign of Aquarius. And Leo and Aquarius are at the opposite spectrums of the astrological chart. So Aquarius has to do with authenticity, the truth, networking, groups, the future, space, aviation, and I would say ETs as well. So that's what's happening this Sunday. So we have this energy that we're in this portal of the Lion's Gate, and that the Lion's Gate actually started. Do I have it here? Yeah, on July 28th and goes until August 12th, but 8/8, August 8th is when the peak energy, just like the full moon is the peak energy of the moon, Lionsgate has the peak energy um, on 8/8 during that window. So uh, let's see about the full moon. Native Americans like to give a name to each of the moon, and this month's moon is called the sturgeon moon. Sturgeon is the type of fish that's in the Great Lakes and Lake Champlain. And so this is the time of the year when the sturgeon were most abundant in the Great Lakes. So this is the names that the Native Americans give each of the different moons has to do with what's happening in nature. So we had the buck moon last month, which was when the deer, were growing their antlers, and this month is when the sturgeon are abundant in the lakes. So again, let's talk about the Lion's Portal. So the portal goes from July 28th to August 12th, and it peaks on the 8th, which is tomorrow. So I'm going to talk a lot about today about the Lion's Gate. So the Lion's Gate is when the sun is in Leo and it aligns with the star Sirius. The star Sirius is part of the Orion constellation. And so the star Sirius and Orion's belt and the Earth create a powerful energetic gateway. Orion's belt, those three stars in Orion's belt, actually line up with the pyramids of Giza. And Sirius is known as our spiritual sun. And back in July, we had the Syrian gateway, which is where the spiritual sun, Sirius, was aligning with our star, our sun. But this is the Lion's Gate happens every year. So it's considered a potent time for manifestation, spiritual awakening, and heart expansion. So, what's really cool about the 8 8, you have the double eights numerology. We have the numbers from 1 to 9, and they all have different energies, frequencies to them. And this is what numerology is all based about. So, the eight, right? The symbol eight, if you put it on its side, it's the infinity symbol. So, it's seen as a symbol of infinity. It's also a sign of abundance, a symbol of abundance, and also balance. So the 8 8 portal is, it's a numerological portal. And infinity has to do with endless potential and spiritual connection. The abundance aspect of that eight, let me do it with my right hand since I'm not left handed, um, has to do with not only wealth, but also emotional and creative richness. Also, uh, the power and balance. Eight has to do with power and balance, where you are aligning your inner and outer worlds. And we have a comment, and it is Vicky Smith. Hi, Vicky Smith. Good to see you. So glad you're here. So let's talk about this alignment with the star Sirius. The star Sirius is one of the brightest stars in our sky, again called our spiritual sun. And the ancient Egyptians honored this time of the year because the rising of Sirius marked the flooding of the Nile, which brought all fertility to that area so things could grow. Um, and it's also their new year. So, this alignment that happens in the sky symbolizes rebirth and renewal. And as I said, the three pyramids of in Giza in Egypt line up with Orion's belt. So there's a connection there. And there've been a lot of studies on pyramids. I haven't delved into it like others have, but yes, there's a lot to the pyramids, not only in Egypt, but there are many all over the world. Um, all right. So we're in this energy of the lion. The lion has to do with courage, as I said, authenticity, and radiant self expression. So it's not about the ego, but it's remembering your divine strength. And also your right to lead with love. So that's why the heart is so important during this portal. Let's see here. Uh, Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the spiritual and energetic meaning of the Lionsgate portal. Oh, and I forgot I had a little that goes with it. So the Lionsgate portal, the energetic and spiritual meaning has to do with a couple of different things. I've got 4 points here. Number one is heart activation. Leo, since it rules the heart, makes this a time to open up with love. Like I said, the heart open up with love, compassion, and personal truth. So, really tapping into that heart energy is important. The other energetic meaning of this portal is that the third eye, which is, here in our crown chakra, expand. And Sirius is associated with higher consciousness and multidimensional awareness. And thirdly, we've got it's a manifestation portal. These energies support setting intentions for abundance, purpose, and soul aligned goals. Again, this is not just on 8 8, but this whole portal, and this portal goes through the 12th. But you'll get the peak of it during the 8 8. And that's so close to the full moon. You also have the full moon energy entering in as well because the full moon, you feel the energy of the full moon 2 days prior and 2 days after. Uh, and then the fourth point regarding the Lion's portal is our DNA and our light body activation. So many people feel an upgrade in consciousness, spiritual downloads, or a sense of awakening during this Lionsgate portal. And you can find many different meditations, guided meditations that have to do with the Lionsgate portal, workshops, and things like that. And actually, later, our tip of the week has to do with that. And I have a suggested free Zoom you can attend that happens tomorrow, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So the Lion's portal, basically, I see it as a time to shine, and the energy is strong. So manifestation potential is big. So it's very important to be clear about your intentions. because they're going to be enhanced. And whether your intentions are not, are like intentions, you're clear, you want to be clear about your intentions. I was going to say that we have subconscious intentions, but then that's not really the definition of the word intention. Intention kind of means a clarity, and you know what you want to manifest, what you want to intend. So, this is a great time to be clear on your intentions because they're going to be enhanced, and also to practice gratitude. So let's talk about the other energy that we're also in. So if it's been intense, this is why, because of all of this celestial energy that's happening. It's Mercury retrograde, and Mercury has been retrograde since July 8th. The good news is that it's going to go direct this Monday on the 11th at 3:30 in the morning. So starting, after 3:30 in the morning on Monday, now that's the time to move forward with your intentions, to actually put into action the things that you've been planning and thinking about and reviewing over the last 2 weeks during this Mercury retrograde. Again, Mercury is a planet of communication and travel. So this is a time to reflect and return rather than to initiate new projects. And so how has the Mercury retrograde been for you? I feel like we yes, it's good to know about it, but it's not something to be feared, because whatever vibration, whatever energy that we're putting out there, things that match that vibration are going to come to us. So that's why it's so important to be intentional about, where am I vibing? What energy am I vibing at? Am I vibing in the lower frequencies of fear or the higher frequencies of love? And anger, hate, all those energies, self doubt, criticism, judgment, all those are lower energies. And you don't want to vibrate there, because you're going to attract things that match that frequency. So the idea, the point of power is now, and it's to to see where your vibration at, where am I vibing at, what feeling, what an emotional state am I in, and rate and shift, step up the ladder and get to a higher frequency. Because by doing that, if you can stay in the love frequency, stay in gratitude, stay in appreciation, stay in joy, you're going to attract things to your life, that reflect that. And that's the whole law of attraction and the trick to, working with energy in your life. We're not taught this. So that's what's going on with the celestial bodies, with the skies. And let's zoom out a little bit and talk about now UAP and UFO disclosure. So the newest information is that last week, and I talked about it last week on Thursday, but earlier last week is when Chuck Schumer and Senator Rounds put forth the UAP Disclosure Act into the NDAA, which stands for the National Defense Authorization Act. So it needed to be part of that, and now they can start work there. I guess I'm learning about how the government works, and it's a very complicated system. But basically, the right things happening on the Senate side, but in Congress, we have the House side too. So there's a House bill, and Representative Burleson is making sure that the language is there that matches what Chuck Schumer and Senator Rounds are putting in, so that they match, and when they vote on both, it'll pass. So that's the big news, is that that's happening. And now this month of August is when the um, I have another comment I'm going to share. The big is when the Congress is in recess. So this is a really great time for Citizens for Disclosure to contact our Congress people and let them know from the grassroots level how important it is that we get this UAP Disclosure Act voted on, and passed, and also the Whistleblower Protection Act, which is also in the mix. So let me switch over here to a comment. Carolyn Dolly, my dear friend, she says, this has been a time to focus on what I want and what life I am creating. Love this. You are right on. Oh, good. Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. So, yeah, please comment, because I love, communicating with you guys. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street, but you got to, comment so I know what you're saying. So back to UAP disclosure. So things are moving along, and Citizens for Disclosure is the arm of the New Paradigm Institute. And there's the website there that you could go to and join. You could just sign up for their newsletter. You can join to be a volunteer. This is all free. You can donate money if you'd like to do that. That's also available because they are doing good work to make sure that that we get UFO disclosure happening. Now, what was really cool is I may have stated before, you may or may not know, but I'm one of the state leads for Citizens for Disclosure for the state of Florida because that's my home base. And so we meet every 2 weeks on Sunday. So if you'd like to be part of that, which I would love, go to the newparadigminstitute.org, sign up to become a volunteer, and then I'll get your email address and then get you into our little communication loop so that you know when these meetings are. But it's all about UAP disclosure and helping to um, talk about and usher in this new world that we're creating that does have to do with being galactic citizens, right? We're more, we're part of a galactic society, a cosmic society, but we have to be aware of this, right? And as disclosure happens, as the ETs come forth and in a physical where people, when it's not denied and people understand that they are real. Of course, there are many different species, and not all have pure intentions, but most do. Most are higher evolved, and they want to help us with our evolution. So this is a time where we could really quantum leap to the next level of evolution if we play our cards right, right? If we are open to that, but we have to be open to that. We have to be aware. We need to be talking about these things. And that's why I did a special event last night called the Disclosure Dialogues, where I had five state leaders from five different states with Citizens for Disclosure to discuss, several topics, but UAP disclosure, what it means to be a cosmic citizen, what post disclosure looks like. So it was a great conversation, hour and 15 minutes actually. And the way you can actually watch the replay on the channel, just go to good-vibes.tv and get to the YouTube channel, or either here I have a tiny URL / disclosure with a capital D, dialogue, no S for this one, and then one. And that'll get you to the episode that I recorded last night. So that's happening. And I'm also going to be doing a series called Galactic Good Vibes, where I'm actually going to do one-on-one interviews with different experiencers so we can learn about their experiences. Not all experiencers are abductees experiences. And there's actually what Stephen Greer says, who I get a lot of my information from. He says that a lot of those abductees and cattle mutilations and things like that were actually operations, psychological operations that the shadow government, the rogue government, the illegal rogue government or operations have been doing to kind of give us this sense that ETs are to be feared, kind of like the War of the Worlds, where Independence Day, the idea that the ETs are here and they're the enemies. And so there's this whole psyop that has been happening over the last, since I think the 40s, where they want us, humanity, to fear the ETs. In the meanwhile, the government's been taking down their craft, reverse engineering that technology and using it for weapons and war instead of using those technologies to help the planet and help humanity. So that's why I'm involved with, this whole effort with Citizens for Disclosure. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And let's go on to our next part here. So it's time for the Oracle of the Month. And since we're in a new month, we've got a new Oracle deck. And it's actually a tarot deck. This is called MindScapes Tarot by John A. Rice. So let me get my camera up here. And you can see the cards a little bit better. This is the actual guidebook. And I was just reading in the guidebook that John Rice created these pictures. He's an artist, and he started creating the different cards for the major arcana. And he did this during COVID in 2020, what I like to call the Great Pause. And so let's go ahead and shuffle these cards. So, we had the Great Pause, and the experience of it range for people for something very good and positive to something not so good and even tragic. So these events happen, and there's, gosh, so many ideas about what who did it and what it was all about. But the thing is, regardless, it happened. And what stands out to me is that because there was less pollution, because people weren't driving and the factories weren't going and stuff, Mother Nature healed itself herself during COVID. The earth was able to restore itself during that because there was less pollution. So I just find that to be an amazing thing, and know that, maybe working from home instead of driving, an hour each way for work is the thing that we want to do to get rid of pollution that's hurting us. But the thing is, I'm really counting on these ET technology to come forth so that we can have free energy, 0 point energy that's clean, and that kind of thing. So I'm shuffling the deck as I'm talking. That's why I'm kind of rambling, because this is a brand new deck and I haven't shuffled it yet. So let's ask Spirit, what is it that we need to know right now, today, the day before the Lion's Gate, and this beautiful full moon that's coming up in Aquarius? What is it that Spirit wants us to know? And the card I'm getting is 7 of Branches. So the branches are going to be the wands, I believe. The traditional tarot deck has 4 different suits. So branches, I would think, would be the wands. All right. And Ace of, yeah. Okay. So keywords with this card are conflict, challenges, competition, defense, self-belief, and perseverance. The planet and zodiac sign are Mars and Leo. The element is fire. That all the ones would be the fire element. So the symbols are destruction, obscured path, fire, smoke, rain, living tree, and blue sky. And again, these cards have several different meanings, and a lot of it has to do with our interpretation, but they're really divination tools, have to do with a way to communicate with the divine. So that's why, and it helps. It's a way to exercise our intuition as well. Okay, so let me read the message from this particular card. It says, wildfire spreads quickly through the forest and threatens to burn down every tree in its wake. Though the air is filled with smoke, rain slashes down from the opposite side to combat the destruction. It's hard to believe that all is not lost, but a glimmer of blue sky and shining white clouds reveal there is hope beyond this catastrophe. You must take a stand and defend your position at all costs. Face challenges with unwavering self-belief and determination. Amid conflict, it is crucial to hold fast and believe in your capacity to overcome. The raging elements may test your resolve, but know that the potential for a brighter future is already on the horizon. What emotional challenges can you overcome with unwavering self-belief? Reflect on the strength within you that can weather the storm. And I guess in his deck, he has journal prompts, at least with the the minor arcana he does. And so here are the journal prompts that you can use while you're meditating on the um, 8-8 portal that's tomorrow. This first one says, one emotional injury I can't get over is blank. Here's what happened. Another journal prompt is five enemies of my self worth are blank. Another journal prompt is five people who make me feel empowered are. Another prompt is five things that make me feel strong are. And the fifth one is today I will stand up against challenges by blank. So, yeah, so now I see what he's talking about with the fire and the rain and the blue sky that's up here in the corner. Um, so seven of wands. I'm trying to picture the original deck that I had that I usually use, and I guess it is the fighting and the conflict. So yeah, and sometimes during the full moon we have things get exacerbated exacerbated. So if you have some negative things happening, they tend to blow up around the full moon energy. So it's important to kind of don't be sucked into the drama, but to take back your power. And the best way to do it, I think, is meditating. But even a step before you start doing that is taking a breath, even just one breath before you you're going to a doctor's appointment that you're scared about, or an important meeting. Take a deep breath, belly breath, and count. Hold it for a second and then let it out, and do a couple more as you're able to. Deep breathe. The more oxygen we get in, helps us, but it also increases nitric oxide in the body, which helps relax our muscles. But just breathing deep like that gets our vagus nerve reset. It helps reset and get us to the calmness, not the flight fright response, but more of the calmer response that's better for us health wise. So yeah, this is what this particular card deck looks like, and I'm just gonna. This is what the back of the cards look like. Um, so yeah, we'll take a look at. I don't know. I don't. Sometimes with the tarot cards, or whenever you're doing them, you may feel led to pulling another card for more clarification. I don't know. I'm not sure that we need clarification on this one. Conflict, challenges, competition, self-belief, perseverance. So it's going to hit you however it hits you. If it does at all, it may not. So, but anyway, I wanted to share with you this particular deck, and we'll be playing with it this week. All right, so next on the list is a little tip about spiritual. Oopsie, I don't want that. I want this. Oops. Sorry, I always try to do this so seamlessly, and sometimes I just push the wrong buttons. Here, this is the one I want. Spiritual activism. So I always like to talk about spiritual activism, how we can really be active and create change in our world through spiritual means. And the thing that I've been promoting every time, and I do this every time because not everyone watches every single episode, but Pam Gregory is a astrologer in the UK that I follow, and she started this over a year ago to meditate exactly at 2 o'clock Eastern time. It's 7 o'clock in England, but 2 o'clock Eastern time every day for just 15 minutes. And it's not just even a meditation; it's sending out kind of getting into your heart and connecting with all the other hearts that are meditating at that same time, or sending positive energy to the planet. And so her um, suggestion is to send love and gratitude to the whole planet, to all of humanity. And if we do this every day, and so she started doing it just on Sundays, and she moved it to every day at 2 o'clock. So I have a little timer. I'm not always able to do it, but it does remind me, and sometimes it just stop. I like to use the Global Coherence app, but she's saying don't even use any kind of guided meditation or anything like that. Just stop, connect, send out intend, send out positive energy, send out love to the planet just for 15 minutes. And by doing that, we're changing the world. And it's true, we are. So, next up, I've got the Longevity with Light webinar that's coming up on Thursday, August 14th. So I believe that's next week. Yes, it is at 8 o'clock. And this week coming, we're going to be talking with Dr. Stanley Gravely, and it's going to be about the ice wave patch, which is a patch, a two patch system that's used to get rid of pain. And I have a friend that has terrible sciatica pain and hasn't been getting any relief from the traditional means. And I went over there with my ice wave and we used 3 sets of them, but it was able to get rid of her pain and she's still using them and so happy about it. So, I like to learn more about the ice wave patches from a professional like Dr. Gravely. So the way that you can sign up for this webinar, it's free, is tinyurl.com/capital L for longevity, capital A for August and 2025. And that will get you to uh, the webinar so that you can sign up and then you'll get emails to remind you when it's happening and that kind of thing. All right. So, lastly, I want to talk about where is it? Here it comes. Maybe. Well, I want to talk about the tip of the week. So let me take this off of here. It's tip of the week to raise your vibration. So last week's tip of the week was to reset yourself with a ritual on Llamas. Last week I did the show on Friday instead of Thursday because I just got back from Florida. I hardly got any sleep. So I moved it to the 1st of August, which is actually Llamas. So, did you do a ritual for Lammas? It could have been baking bread, but it was basically Lammas has to do with the first harvest. So, this is one of the pagan festivals where we celebrate that. And anyway, that was last week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is to focus on your intentions during this Lion's Gate portal. And I actually found a very cool, I guess, webinar meditation that'll be happening on Friday, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And it's called, and actually, what I'm going to do is because I got this graphic from their email. Um, and so the class is called Step into the Lion's Gate. Your heart is calling. Align, awaken, and lead from the heart. And this is with Khadij Mitchell and Claire Schaaf. And this is happening tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And I created a tiny URL for you to use to get right to it. This is actually, it'll take you to the Zoom. You don't need to register in advance, just use this link, tinyurl.com/capital GVTV, in small letters, Lionsgate 2025. And you will be able to take part in their meditation, guided meditation for the 8/8 portal at 3 o'clock again, Eastern time tomorrow. So that's happening. I will be there because I do want to partake. This These people are associated with the Global Coherence app people, the Heart Math Institute. And so I don't know them personally, but I do trust the Global Coherence app because I love to use it. So check that out tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And there's the tiny URL, and I'll put that in the description as well. All right, my friends, I want to thank you for watching today. I don't see any other comments if you had any other questions, but if you received some positive energy from this episode, some good vibes, some good information, some guidance, some positive wisdom, please like the episode, share it with people who could use it. And, until next time, I want to encourage you to keep raising your vibe so you thrive. So take care, everyone, and peace out.